Hello and welcome to Now Spinning Magazine with me, Phil Aston, and Sue Aston on this particular episode, where this is a new series called She Rocks, where we look at specific female artists in the world of rock and pop. And in this, our first episode, we're going to be looking at Kate Bush. We've both decided to pick our top 5 Kate Bush albums, which will count down from 5 to 1. Now, Kate's output isn't that huge anyway. I think there's about 9, 10, 11 albums in total. I've probably not counted that exact, but there's not that many. So we've kind of missed out one each to get to a top 5. Shall I start?
You start.
I'm going to start. So this is number 5 because there's going to be some overlap, as you can imagine. But actually, we're actually quite separate in what we picked, which I think is quite interesting. And I shall be asking Sue why she thinks this is. And I'll be trying to explain why I think it is. Anyway, the 5th one in my list is The Kick Inside from 1978. I cannot deny that when this appeared, nothing else like it existed on the planet or in the top 20, Wuthering Heights. I know that there are different versions of this, and it's kind of toned down a bit compared with the helium-enriched version that first emerged.
Helium-enriched.
but this had a lot. There was no doubt about it. James and the Cold Gun, great guitar stuff again, because that was my background. But all of them Heavy People. But The Man with the Child in His Eyes, which I think she wrote when she was 16, 15, 14,
probably.
Which is
very young.
Very young. So this is my number 5 in my list of top Kate Bush albums. So before I waffle on too much, Sue,
yes.
What would be your 5th position?
Well, this is very interesting, isn't it? Because we're polar opposites, aren't we?
Polar opposites.
My 5th choice is Ariel. Shall you pronounce it? Yes. I'm not very good at holding up. Is that held up sufficiently?
Yes, it is, yes.
Ariel, which came out in 2005.
Yes.
Yes, and I think there'd been a bit of a gap between the previous album and then Ariel. But I really loved this album. I think it's incredibly atmospheric and Kate Bush at her quirky genius best, really. I mean, there's just some fantastic... what is the subject matter, really, that she writes about? It's just so imaginative. There's one called Pi, not as in apple pie, but the mathematical 3.14, whatever else comes next. Fancy writing a song about pi. And then one about her son, Bertie, which is really beautiful. And Mrs. Bartolozzi. And that's all like singing about her doing the washing and stuff like that, and washing machine. Love it. I just love the quirky nature of it. It's just so imaginative. So that's my number 5.
That's your number 5. My number 4 is 50 Words for Snow, which came out in 2011. This is at a stage in her career where everything there's like Kate Bush time. And the one that Sue just mentioned, Ariel, that came out in 2005, and The Red Shoes was 1993. So by now we're almost like decades in between each album. I like this one because of where it was going after Ariel, which was, when was it? Yeah, 2011. So literally almost 10 years, really. And it's a very reflective, meditative album. If you're not in the right mood for it, it might feel as if everything is on the same level. But for me, where it was when Sue bought me this for a present, I just thought it was mesmerising.
That was kind of me, wasn't it?
Yes, it was very kind of you. But I've always liked it. I've always thought it was lovely music on this. Steve Gadd's on drums, Kate's on piano, as you'd expect. But that's my number 4.
The artwork's beautiful. It's all snowy.
Yes. So what's your number 4?
Well, I'm just going to extricate it, if that's the right word. It's Hounds of Love. I love this. It's Kate at her pop-tastic best, isn't it, really? You've got Hands of Love, amazing song, Running Up That Hill, Cloud Bursting. There's just so many things that are just so upbeat and energetic. So, yeah, really love that. Again, lovely photo on the front. Lovely soft purple.
So that was your number 4.
That was my number 4.
So my number 3.
Oh, it's getting complicated now.
It is, because they're all out.
They're all over the place.
They're all over the place, and there's an
CD
overlap.
Jenga.
Yeah. My number 3 is Ariel, which Sue's already mentioned. I remember hearing the first track, which was King of the Mountain, on the radio, because this was a big deal. There was going to be a new Kate Bush album. They'd mentioned that it was going to be like a premiere in London, where Kate was going to invite lots of journalists to listen to it for the first time. And not only was it a new album by Kate Bush, it was a double album by Kate Bush. I mean, someone who hasn't written anything for ages, and now she's releasing a double album. I think King of the Mountain is a wonderful song. And there's the one which I cannot remember, but it's got where she's used a wood pigeon as the melody line.
Yes.
It's so clever to use nature as the basis of the notation for the song, because it means that when you're out in the countryside, you start to hear a Kate Bush track wherever you are.
Very true.
It's very clever, and the way that on the back of this cover you can see that what she's done for the cover, and the front as well, actually, is the frequency range of the note going through electronically. So this is the notes of the music, but she's also used that, I think, in the booklet, didn't she?
I think so, yes.
I think if I can extract it or find it even. So have a look. Where is it? We did see this somewhere.
Yes, we did.
And now we can't find it. There it is.
There it is.
So she's used, put the birds on the musical notation.
I like that.
It's very clever. And it's something you've done yourself,
I've done that myself,
isn't it?
yes, is it November Skies?
Yes, you have. But there isn't... It's very dreamlike. It's wonderful illustrations in the booklet. But I haven't tired of this album, and it's something that you just put on and you don't really play a specific track from it. So in the first album, I might listen to The Man with the Child in His Eyes and go from different things. But on this, I just put it on and just go with it. And I think it just really, changes the atmosphere of the room it's in, or changes the room even, due to the music. But I think it's one of my, obviously it's one of my favourites, because it's at number, where is it? Number 3 in my chart.
Wow. My number 3 is Never Forever. And I can remember getting this for Christmas when I was a teenager or something like that. And I just absolutely loved it. It's kind of different from her first 2 albums, which are very much piano-based. And I really love the instrumentation on it. And you've got Babushka and Delius, Blow Away, All We Ever Look For, Egypt. There's just so many things. Violin, Infant Kiss, Night Scented Stock, Army Dreamers, and Breathing. All quite heavy titles, some of them. But I just absolutely adored Never Forever, and I just love her floaty dress on the front. And I can remember getting that, as I said, for a Christmas present, and yeah, I just really loved listening to it and playing it all the time.
So that's your number 3. Well, my number 2 is from, I can't see. We've got on the screen. I've just got the dates of the albums because all the albums we're using are both from these 2 box sets,
yes.
Which I've featured on the channel before, and Kate basically repositioned every album as coming out in 2018, which isn't quite right. Probably to do with publishing or whatever.
A bit confusing.
So basically, The Sensual World came out in 1989, and this is my second favourite Kate Bush album. And it's the one. It will follow on from when you realise what is my first choice, but this is easily, for me, my second favourite. The Sensual World, I love the way it starts with the church bells and the distance, and it's kind of gives this kind of country element again with nature. Love and Anger, The Fog is some great guitar work. I mean, great guitar work from Dave Gilmour is on this. Nigel Kennedy plays violin on it.
Fantastic.
Heads Were Dancing, Deeper Understanding Between a Man and a Woman, Rocket Tail, and one of the most heart-wrenchingly sad but thought-provoking songs of ever is the way it finishes with This Woman's Work.
Yeah.
If you've not seen the video that accompanies this track, it's absolutely
it's amazing,
heartbreaking.
Isn't it? Yeah.
If there's ever been a set of lyrics to make you want to hug your loved ones or tell them what you really think about them, the way that she's put the words together in this, pray God you can cope, and the way she says all the things we should have done, all the things you said, it's just, I mean, as I'm saying this now, I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
I think it's such a powerful song.
It really is.
And when I first met Sue and brought her back to my apartment, and my music collection was obviously lots of Black Sabbath and metal and stuff. I had this. so I do distinctly remember putting it in something. Maybe this will, make you think that I'm quite a normal person.
No, it didn't work.
How did that go?
Not very well. No, obviously it went very well because here we are today.
But I do think that the whole, I mean, I love the early stuff, but I think there's something about this to me, where it was probably in my life, probably it will make more sense when I say what the first one is, but I just felt that this really does resonate with me a lot. So that's my number 2 in my Kate Bush rundown, which is The Sensual World from 89.
Number 2, as it were, is Lionheart. Yeah, I just love her early work because I think when she first came out, I was probably about 11 or something like that, and going through a difficult time, having gone to secondary school and being new. And I just adored Kate Bush. I just really identified with her because she's just so artistic and kind of theatrical as well. And piano playing is beautiful. Her vocal range is incredible. It's just everything I love about music is the really highs, really lows, and the unusual rhythms. There's just nothing predictable about Kate Bush, and that's why I really love her. And Lionheart, it's got some fantastic tracks on Symphony in Blue. Obviously, Oh England, My Lionheart. It's got Wow on there, which everyone will know. The Warm Room, Coffee Homeground, and Hammer Horror, which was another hit. Yeah, just absolutely loved this one.
So what was it? Just I know you touched on that then, but what was it about Kate that when she came out and you first heard about it, because the first 2 albums appear literally in the same year.
That's right.
And you're really young. What was it about her that appealed to you beyond the music? Was it?
Well, it was strange really, because I think I was only 11 when I first heard her music, and it was quite by accident really, because I'd moved house with my parents. I'd gone away from somewhere where I was really happy and knew everyone to somewhere where I didn't know anyone, and I was starting a new secondary school. And we had some neighbours that were like introducing themselves as you used to do back in the day. And they just lent my parents the Kate Bush albums, and I just remember absolutely loving them. And I think because I was wanting to be a music student and all that, I don't know, I just used to love singing along to her songs, as I still do. I just really love that kind of voice. And yeah, and also I think as an artist she is completely unique, very quirky as well. But she's very private as well, and I really respect the fact that she doesn't use any kind of tricks or imagery to kind of get her ahead. She's never done that. She's just, her music speaks for itself, and she doesn't need any gimmicks, or She doesn't need to play up to the camera or that sort of thing. And I just thought, yeah, here's a really strong, artistic woman. Loved her hair. Just loved everything about her, really. So, yeah.
Well, it's my
number one.
Number one. And it's The Hands of Love. This is my favourite album by Kate Bush for loads of reasons. This came out in 1985, which was the year my dad died. And I do feel that this album, musically and production-wise, is very different to everything that had come out up to this point. And the first song I heard from it was obviously Running Up That Hill, A Deal with God. And whatever that's about, but this, to me, there's always been something very spiritual about it, about the whole song. And it doesn't matter which version I hear, because I know there are 12-inch mixes, there are extended mixes. I just love them all. I think there's something about it that feels very human, very about feelings. I think it's a song that works on so many levels, and I can see why they used it in Stranger Things recently on that Netflix series, and why a whole new generation of young music fans thought it was a brand new track and became Kate Bush fans and gave her first number one for decades. I mean, the other one, as I say, because my dad had died in 85, is Cloud Bursting, which, again, if you remember the video, that's the one with Donald Sutherland, who pretends to be her dad, who's come up with this invention to make it rain.
Oh, yes.
And she's kind of like trying to protect him when the authorities come and take him away. And then she kind of carries on with the experiments. It just really gelled with me. And I felt that, as Sue was just saying, Kate Bush is not just a musician, because she planned everything. The visuals, the choreography to what was going on in the videos. So in some ways, you kind of look at her career and think you thought she might have gone off and become a film director or wrote stories or anything, because her mind is so visual and so literal in how she can come up with stories. Some songs might sound like they're more about just love between a man and a woman, but usually there's a whole drama unfolding behind it. The other one, I think, that I have to mention here is the whole of side 2 is called The Ninth Wave, which is based off a poem by Tennyson. And when you listen to that, and you yourself were listening the other day, because it's a whole side of a record with so many different things. There are choirs, there are violins, there are reels, and that part called Hallow Earth.
Oh yeah, that's great. When
it's about someone who's literally giving up on life and they're drowning, and you hear this heavenly choir coming across the speakers. Yeah. I think it's one of the best albums, period, let alone because it's by Kate Bush. It is stunning.
Yes.
There you go, see.
There you are.
That's why it's where it is.
Where's my hidden my number one? Where's it gone? That's because you've previously had it. It's The Kick Inside. So my favourite Kate Bush albums really kind of go in chronological order, because I just remember where I was at each time I heard them, brand new, so to speak. So we'd seen Kate Bush do Wuthering Heights on Top of the Pops, and most people were like, what's going on? But they were like, what kind of voice is that? And I just loved it. I thought, this is the most brilliant thing. And I just love all of the tracks on here. They're all just absolutely gorgeous. The Man with the Child in His Eyes, and obviously Wuthering Heights, all of them are amazing. Just absolutely adore it. Love her piano playing, as we already said. I just love the whole, piano playing, the voice. She's just such an amazing artist, and there will never be anybody like Kate Bush. I know people say Tori Amos is a bit like Kate Bush, but I do think, she just happens to have a few similarities. You can't plan your whole career taking somebody off, can you, like that? I think she just happens
She's her own person.
She's her own person, also brilliant singer and brilliant on the piano. But I think I can just see that they're both very different people. Absolutely.
Yeah. And to those of you watching it, we haven't ignored the others. It's just that we had to have 5, otherwise we'd have just run down the whole thing, wouldn't we? So there's Before the Dawn, which is the triple live one from that series of 22 odd concerts she did in 2014. The director's cut, which is of Red Shoes and also The Sensual World. And also there is the other side, which features cover versions and 12-inch singles. And there is the Red Shoes with Rubber Band Girl, which I really like as well. It's a great track. And then here's a question for all of you out there watching this. There is the Dreaming, which for many people sits at the top of their Kate Bush listening pile. This is an album, I have to admit, and Sue would agree, is probably the most challenging, depending on if how you come into Kate Bush. I'd really like to know in the comments what your top 5 Kate Bush albums are and which ones you play the most. I feel that, to sum up, that I think what was going on in my life in the mid-80s and how I came across The Hands of Love and then everything else is how and why albums like Ariel and 50 Snow.
I wonder what you're going to say then. 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
No.
I've lost my thread now.
Sorry.
It's how the music has followed me where I've been going in my life, and I just feel more in tune now. But I understand from what you're saying.
Yeah.
Lyrically, she was completely in tune with where you were as a young girl.
That's absolutely true. And also, I think I had such a terrible time when I was like 11 through till I was about 17. Such a difficult time for me growing up. I was bullied a lot, and I was very small and obviously into classical music, so that makes you a target. But I had quite full lips when I was little, and people always go, "Oh, you've got lips like Kate Bush," but I was really happy with that. And I obviously grew into my features more. But when you're a little child, you kind of like, I don't know, you just look for people that you feel as though you've got a natural sort of allegiance with, and Kate Bush was my girl hero.
And finally, for anyone from the music business watching who's a Kate Bush fan or part of the Kate Bush empire, whatever, Sue bought me this a long time ago. I think it was Christmas or birthday, and it used to be a VHS video, and it came with a CD.
Yeah.
And I don't think this was never available on its own, and I don't think it's available now at all. And it's a souvenir of the only Kate Bush tour that she ever did, which was in 1979, and it has a lot of tracks from those first classic albums. So thank you very much, and thank you, Sue, for joining me on this first episode of She Rocks. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, ring that little bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. And if you can become a patron or a YouTube member, you'll get to join our private Facebook group, our private WhatsApp group, and come along to our own virtual pub called the Now Spinning Arms, which meets every month, twice a month, in fact, I think it is.
Yes, and we'd like more women in that, just saying.
Yeah, that's very true. It's very true. It's called She Rocks, new series about women in music, and Sue's with me, and so obviously we're trying to encourage more women to join the channel as well. But remember, music is the healer and the doctor, so please take care, all of you. Keep spinning those discs, and we'll see you all very, very soon.